What is going on, everybody? Another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures, and in today's episode, the first episode of the Triton build series, we're going to start. We have a pretty wild-looking ML Triton, and the owner's here with me. How you going, mate?
Yeah, not so bad yourself.
Not bad at all, mate. So, let's talk about your car. Go through the details.
It's a 3.2 ML 2006 model Triton. I've had it for about 2.5-ish years.
Yep. Originally
from Queensland, as you can tell by the plates.
Yeah, for sure.
But moved over here because of work.
Cool.
Got interested in your channel, and this is kind of half the reason why I built the car the way I did.
Awesome. Well, we'll get into all those details because there's a fair bit going on here. It's almost as modified as mine. So, there's plenty of interesting things going on here. Some cool little ideas in the inside and stuff. So let's get into them. All right. So I'll introduce my guest. This is Deklyn. He's been a follower of the channel for a hell of a long time, actually.
Yeah, pretty much since he started.
Since I started the channel, which is pretty cool. It's actually meeting one of my subscribers, which is even more cool because, you know, don't get to meet too many subscribers out there in the real world, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to start this video a little bit differently. We're going to start from the back because it's got a bit of a cool tray setup going on and some pretty cool ideas in here as well. So why don't we start from the top, mate? We've got, very similar to me, Osru. You actually bought this before me.
Yeah, I originally bought it because I wanted to go to the canopy, but I just needed something a little different. Didn't want to be the same old.
Yep.
At least with this, you can actually bolt different stuff to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't really like the canopy, but other than that, this is the final result into what it is.
Yeah, and I do find on the MLs, the canopy looks a bit weird as well because they curve at the back.
Yeah.
So it does have that bit of a weird, bubbly shape to it, which is a little bit different in the MN because it's more flat.
Yeah.
Like we we're talking about before. Very similar idea to mine is you can mount max tracks or that kind of stuff to it.
Yeah, I was originally going to mount the jerry cans similar to what you did, but I didn't particularly like the weight sitting on the side of the car. And
I'm
plus
with
I
you.
didn't really need the jerry cans at the time.
Yep, for sure. So what do you do for jerry cans now? Do you just have them in the back?
I got a small 20-litre jerry can that I just throw in the back.
Yeah, cool.
And normally just sit it on the back of the tub, just for drinking water or
for sure. Yeah, when you're camping out. All right, let's go from the top. So, roll Titan roof rack. It's 1200. Yep.
Yes, 1200 by 1200.
Yep.
Paired with the Osru roof rack.
Yep.
And on the sides, I got the party lights from my good mate Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, he's probably going to watch this video now.
Of course he'll watch it.
Shout out to you, Jack. But in behind, other than that, the more prominent stuff is underneath the tonneau cover.
Yep.
This tonneau cover was cut to suit the modifications that I did to the actual tub rack.
Okay.
Because the MLs had the problem with the sloping tub.
Oh yeah, yep.
But no, we can get into this.
Yeah, open it up, man. Have a gander inside. See what's all going on.
But yeah, inside I've got a bit of a shelf that I made up. Originally I had drawers in the back of it.
Very similar to mine.
Yeah, very similar to yours with the Titan racks, but being an open top and I didn't have the tonneau cover at the time, it became very difficult because weather deterioration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I had the bright idea because I put the tonneau cover on and I went, oh, now I've got no more room. So because of the drawers, I was like, do I fix them? And then I went, oh, I don't really need them anymore. So that's what came into these two boxes.
And you can probably fit more in the boxes anyway.
Yeah, stacking wise.
Yeah, because they're 50 litres, so.
But yeah, in this one I run my recovery gear and compressor.
Yep.
And this one is just my hand tools and all my small bits and pieces.
Yep. Just in case you get stuck somewhere and you need to do something.
And it makes it pretty easy too when you're at home and you don't have multiple different bags or boxes or anything like that to carry. You can just take the whole box out, box in type thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing for people playing at home as well. When you're thinking about setting up your rear of your car, make sure it's easy access. So you don't obviously have all this stuff in the back of the car all the time. But you want to make sure it's easy to get in there. So
the only thing that stays in the back of the car is the battery box because no one really wants to carry out a battery box all the time.
Yeah. If you got the right dual battery setup, it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? No, perfect, man. You've said in the video, but there's a little rack at the back there as well, which you've got your little cooker and that kind of stuff that you sit on as well.
Yeah, and I throw my chair and table or anything like that underneath just to push it back as far as I can, because these boxes do take up a fair bit of room.
Yeah, and especially with Tritons, because where the wheel is based on the whole tray setup, you probably want most of your weight closer to the cab anyway. So
it's not so prominent on the
MLs,
but it is pretty prominent on the ends.
Yeah, there's a big difference between how the back of the car sits with these two cars, so that's an 1800 tray, and this is a 1500, I think. Roughly, 15, 1600, yeah, so it makes a big difference with that overhang. And MCC bar, mate.
Yeah,
this big Bertha.
Yeah, that hasn't been on there for quite too long. My mate Jack actually helped me fit it. We had a couple of minor issues fitting it, as I'm sure anyone else that may have fitted MCC bars to Tritons. It sticks out a little bit, but with a little bit of ingenuity with checker plate or anything like that, you'd be able to...
Yeah, you can make it look a bit neater.
Yeah. Cover this piece up.
I think, again, don't quote me on this, people, but I think if you had this bar, because it's the same chassis, obviously, on an MN, it probably wouldn't stick out as far.
No,
because you have a longer tray.
Yeah, if I was to throw this on yours, it would actually sit pretty well. But
yeah, I reckon.
Yeah,
because it's probably because they made it to suit both cars.
Yeah.
You got the issue, obviously, of having a checker plate there to cover the gap. So.
Yeah, but I like the way that MCC are. I've seen heaps of products and heaps of them on many different cars before. But no, it seemed MCC was the way to go for me. ARB seemed a little bit out of my price range, but no, the MCC seemed pretty good.
Awesome, man. And you've still got access to, if you wanted to, you can mount, because this is all 4mm steel, so you can mount a wheel holder in here if you wanted to.
Yeah, if I need to.
If you need to, yeah, down the track.
Because I'm pretty happy with the tyre underneath at the moment. If I was to go 33s like yourself, I may think about putting a wheel carrier or something like that on.
Yeah, because it does make it a little bit harder. You can still fit it, but it's a bit of fluffing around.
Yeah, it hits on the shackle or hits on the exhaust.
Yeah, so you can deflate it, and there's a few, but it's a lot of stuffing around, so hence why I've got the one in mine in the back of the car, because it's just easier. Later on down the track, you could, as I said, just get a little swing arm, weld it on there, and you're ready to rock and roll. So, cool, man.
Yeah. With these lights as well, they're reverse lights wide in, just like yourself as well. But
yep,
I can switch these party lights on because I'm sure Jackie boy's going to like these.
So this is 2 a.m. at the campsite, right?
Yeah, 2 a.m. at the campsite, and everyone loves it.
Everyone's getting a few beers in them.
I like these camp lights.
Oh, okay, so the normal camp lights, and then you got the party light, little RGB thing going around it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, party time. But
that's the
guy. Jack's got he got new ones from Vivid Lighting. I'm pretty sure they're an American brand.
Yep.
Yeah, I asked him, I was like, "Can I buy these off you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure."
And I'm assuming the tub door, this looks like it's lined with Raptor lining?
Yeah, or? Before I had the entire setup done, even before I had the tub rack all done, originally this was my old man's car. But,
okay.
He was a tradie, and there was a fair few scratches, dents, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all the usual stuff, yep.
Yeah, the typical tradie sort of vehicle. But then I just like, I'll get this Raptor lined to help protect it, and then I had a very thin mat from Clark Rubber, but then after I took the drawers out, that rubber had creased, and with the ripples in the back of the tub, it made it pretty difficult. But then I come across this stuff, and this stuff was really, really good, and it held up to the test of time. It outlasted the drawers as well.
Yeah, pretty good.
And it keeps everything nice and level and makes it pretty easy to slide heavy objects back and forward.
Because you know, Triton, I mean, most utes have this, but they got those humps in the middle of the tray. So, yeah, making everything flat, it's a bloody great idea.
Yeah, because I didn't like the idea of having a piece of plastic with the tub liners, and
tub liners just don't work.
They tend to crack and split and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah, and they're not really versatile. If you drill through once and then you change your setup, then you've got all these holes in it. They just don't become worthwhile in the end. And you've got the dust kit, which is something I literally just noticed. The dust kit for your tray. Yeah,
this because of the age of the vehicle, rubber tends to deteriorate and stuff like that. That was just some cheap stuff from Bunnings, and just cut it to suit. And keeps heaps of dust out now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like it works. It's pretty clean in there, so definitely keep the dust out, that's for sure. No, great little idea. So how long do you reckon that's been on there for? Because obviously I've wrapped it like mine, and that's been on there for 2-ish years, and it's been fantastic. So I'm just wondering, how long has that been on there for? Because it looks in good nick.
Yeah, this one's been on here way before I even started this, and I've been doing this build for probably close to a year now.
Yeah, okay.
Over a year, and this got done probably 3-4 months before I actually started. 3 or 4 months before this got put on there.
Yeah, okay. So again, shout out to not so much Raptor, but the product is bloody good. I rate it highly. I reckon it's awesome. So did you do the back of it?
No.
No.
It's just the top part because I used to have the hardwood cover that used to be on here.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the places that gets scratched the most.
What some people may actually notice is that my tailgate's been blacked out. That was because we had a bit of an accident and put a dent in the back of the car. I've tried to fix it as best I can. But,
didn't even notice, mate.
Yeah, but once the car gets resprayed in Raptor, all this is going to be fixed. All this is going to be blacked out. And
yeah, cool. All neat and tidy. And LED lights.
Yeah,
the
Mars Performance ones to match the front as well.
eBay special?
No, actually from Mars Performance themselves.
Oh, yes, you got it directly from. Awesome. No, awesome, man. Yeah, because you can either get it directly from them or one of the many shops obviously on eBay and the rest of it. So, but yeah, they're Melbourne, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah. The same headlights as that on that car. So, awesome, man. And I see you're carrying the lovely King swag on top.
Yeah, that thing has. I've had
First off, how old is it?
Yeah, it's far out. It feels like I've had it since I've started the build actually.
So roughly about 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years. The bag's pretty much on its way out. I've got to get a new one. But the swag itself, can't fault it.
Yeah. Swag's all good. There's nothing wrong with swags. There's nothing wrong with swags. Bag,
Yeah, the bag on itself, they seem to change the bags now. They seem a lot more heavy duty.
okay.
But the bag that I've got now seems to be pretty dodgy. But that's what you get for the age of some things that deteriorate. Yeah,
well, I made that video on that, like the difference between when they originally came out with like a proper canvas bag and then the, I suppose, nylon or whatever they make this out of, or thinner canvas, whatever it is. First thing I noticed is bag. Yeah, it's just not going to last. And perfect example of that. But you can buy a replacement bag for these, I believe. Yeah. That are proper canvas, which I would have thought they'd give you in the first place. But it is what it is. It's all about price, I suppose. So you're just going to replace the bag and keep the swag?
Yeah, at the moment. It's. I don't see any reason to change it. I don't see the point of having a rooftop tent for myself. My missus is going to move over very shortly.
Yeah, okay.
So once she's over here...
Might get the rooftop tent maybe, or...
I reckon we'll keep the swag for a little bit, but not too sure.
Okay. Yeah,
just play it by ear at this point.
If you got a rooftop tent, what would you get?
I'd probably get the Dachi one, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That seems pretty... I've spoken to a fair few people, and they seem to highly rate them.
Yeah, Dachi's really good. Yeah, I'm going to get their swag. I'm actually going to get their inflatable swag. It's something a little different.
But if I was to go to the rooftop tent, I'd actually get the half height version of this one to drop the weight down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Because they do I'm with you. And then just sell this one or whatever.
Yeah, fix it up or sell it or just whatever, really.
Yep. Awesome. And you got both sides, obviously, it's got max tracks on it, which is pretty smart. I did question it when I first saw it, but then I was like, well, you haven't got 4 on one side, so you're going to get your weight, or not weight for these things, but like too far coming out. Yeah. So, it's a pretty good little idea, man.
It does help when you're in a bog hole and like you can't get out, so people can grab to that side, front and rear tires. That was my first thought. But no, they haven't been used, thank God, yet. Haven't been stuck that hard yet.
Yep.
But they are. I like the way that they sit on the sides.
Yeah, no, it looks good, man. And again, does stop a little bit of weather coming here, which is good. So, not that you really need it, but it does stop a little bit of weather. I suppose the other big thing about these, if you're on a beach or something like that and you're going through a dune system, and then you end up on one side and that's pretty much on the dune and you can't get to it, you're not going to be able to get to these, so you've got the other side. Yeah. So you can access both sides, which is, some people probably don't think about.
Yeah, because there's a fair few people that actually put them up on top of the roof bars, but besides that, I didn't see the point of putting them at the top because I am short and I don't have side steps at the moment.
Yeah. So you don't have to sit there
trying to reach up into it. It's just at a good height that you undo, pull off.
Yeah, simple, just bang. Yep, straight to recovery. So, perfect. Anything else cool in here that you want to talk about, man?
Not really. It's just later down the track, I'll fix up the tub rack just a slight bit because the sloping tub.
Yep.
I'll fix that a little bit.
Yep.
With a bit of angle iron or anything like that, just to try and
square
it up a bit.
Yeah.
And go to I believe it's Morley canvas over here.
Okay.
And get a custom made tonneau cover made.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
As good as this tonneau cover is with the buttons, I'd like to have ones that have zips on the inside of here, so I don't have to unclip the whole the whole way along. I can just unzip both sides and roll it all the way up.
That's a good idea.
And that way you can still have the tonneau cover, but also have zips running down the sides.
Makes a lot of sense. And then you just got to mount it to this? Like have the canvas mounted just like
if I can, I'll get the rail because the rail seems to be a little bit
makes it more
better.
taut. Yeah, definitely holds it a lot tighter. Which is good. Awesome, man. All right, well, I reckon next step we'll jump into the side, talk about your roof setup, and maybe jump inside as well. Have a gander in there.
Yeah, too easy.
All right, so roof racks. Let's talk about a few little things on the side. So you haven't got side steps like me.
No.
Did you get rid of them or?
I got rid of the side steps ages and ages ago.
Yep.
But I've looked at Doyle Custom Off-Road.
Oh yeah.
He does all custom work and he does a lot of ML Tritons and MN Tritons.
Does a lot of Tritons, yeah.
Yep. And I've asked him and I'm waiting to hear back from him at the moment because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But
because he's in Vic, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Vic.
I was going to say, yeah.
I believe he's in Vic, or if not, he's in.
Pretty sure he's
in New South Wales.
Yeah, we're somewhere over there in East, so somewhere where it's at. I suppose at the time of recording this is quite full of COVID, so doing a bit tough.
He said he's we can talk about designs and stuff like that, but I was still waiting, but I mean, understandable with what's going on. No, originally it didn't have the weather shields on it.
Oh, okay, yep.
I put them on because a few of my mates actually had the weather shields, and every time you drive with them, he'd have his window cracked a little bit and no water would come in. Every time you wind the window down, water would come in.
Yeah, it's why I got mine. And if it's raining, you can have it just cracked a little bit to get some fresh air in. And then if it's even if it's like if you're driving at 100 k's an hour, if you have it cracked open a little bit, it doesn't actually get that wind noise because you're pretty much blocking it off. So any car I get, I always put these on because I reckon they're worth it. And you've gone from roller to Rhino, obviously just some standard roof racks which are holding up your light bar.
Yeah, that's holding up the 42-inch steady light bar. It's the Stack 3, I believe it is.
Yeah, okay.
So it's got the flood, the spot and the flood at the same time.
Yeah, okay. Do you use it often when you got what do you use more often, the big ones at the front or the?
When I'm driving just down the highway, I tend to use the spotties a lot more.
Yeah.
Just for the distance, but when I'm out full driving, the light bar gives a hell of a lot more spread.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm putting one of mine. Is when you're full driving, the light bar actually it just gets further into your trees and that kind of stuff. So.
Well, yeah. Normally when I'm full driving, because you've got cars in front of you, it doesn't help to have the spotties on unless you're at the front.
Yep.
Front
of the convoy or whatever. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Oh, awesome. And TJM, we may as well talk about while we're here. TJM snorkel.
With the car when my old man actually bought it.
Yep.
Came factory, hasn't changed. Well, hasn't had a need to change because it still works.
I think, because obviously I went the stainless on mine, but I think that's probably the better looking snorkel from the Tritons. And the reason I say that is it hasn't got the weird thing going over the front hoop.
Yeah, it doesn't go all the way down.
Yeah, it does look a lot neater. That's the one I was going to get if I didn't get the Staino. Definitely a neat looking snorkel because it just goes straight to the side.
Yeah,
so.
It's the short entry one, I believe it is. I have no idea what the reason is, or if my dad chose that one, or if it was the only one on offer. But either way, I'm still happy with how it is.
Yeah, no, it does the job, mate. It does the job. It keeps the water out of the airbox, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
Go through water.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose we'll talk about tyres and suspension that in a different section, but not really much else going on here. So, yeah, let's jump into the side, I suppose.
Too easy.
This is right. Reminds me a lot of home.
Yeah, it'd be pretty similar to yours. I've got the 2 gauges, the SAS gauges at the moment.
Yep.
I'd like to eventually go to the red arc ones, but that in due time. They do the job for now.
Yeah, for sure.
Main thing about the Tritons is that the double ding unit is, well, it is pretty bad.
It's pretty average head unit, yeah.
Can't really do much, but yeah, that was definitely one of the best upgrades on the interior of this vehicle.
Yeah, you get upgrading the double din.
For entertainment wise. Yeah, you've got 2 HDMI cables, you can plug in all the times, sat nav, everything.
Yeah, nice.
GPS tracker, speed, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, awesome. What brand is it?
Kenwood.
Hey, nice. Perfect, man.
It's been in there for good solid over a year now and hasn't skipped a beat.
Yeah, beautiful. And HDMI, you can put a Nintendo Switch in there.
Yeah, we've
hook it up and
actually done that before.
Play some Mario.
Yeah, we played some Mario Kart.
That's the go.
A few times before. It was a little difficult to play on a small screen, but it was good when I had a few mates in the car and we're all playing 3-player, and mate who was in the back was actually playing on the
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Playing some Mario in the car. That's awesome, man.
We got the head unit as well. That was the Outback Adventures, or pretty sure they are.
Yep, Outback Adventures. Yep.
And originally it did house my UHF. That's been moved down here.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
The reason for the move was because I was actually I was pulling the little rubber connector out. Every time I'd pull it down, I'd go to pull it down over here and go to talk with it, and it'd be pulling the actual UHF out.
So it didn't sit in there properly, essentially.
But then, yeah, just decided to change because I was getting the new lights, and that's how I came up with this idea. With,
mantle your switches up there.
It's all got like LEDs all through. You got storage up here. All connects straight up to your main headlight, your main interior lights.
Oh yeah, with you. Yeah, pretty easy to install.
Pretty easy, but it does get a little difficult if you're by yourself.
Yeah, okay.
It does help to have just one other person just holding it up there.
So EDS, keeping the gauge on all your engine stuff.
Yeah, that's just the Super Center one. That's just plugged in the OBD2.
Yep.
Not really much else. I've got the factory rear locker.
Because this is the GXL, isn't it?
GLXR.
GLXR, whatever it's called. Yep.
One big thing that got changed. If you got an ML out there, you'll notice the center console will be a lot different. The factory one was very uncomfortable. Didn't have much storage space, so I ripped one out of a MN. Sorry.
Yep.
Manual.
And they fit anyway, so it's the same car.
It's just a direct bolt in. I was actually really pleased with how it came up.
I honestly thought it was factory the first time I saw it. So.
The only thing that sticks out from the factory is the cup holder that you come with, and the handbrake.
So, okay, so you pretty much just got to use the original handbrake. I mean, you could probably change that eventually if you wanted to. And the whole thing pretty much bolts up, and you can pretty much update the interior of your car, because it does come in that weird greyish sort of colour. It looks a bit it looks a bit A on the original.
And it's like really low as well. But this one actually, for me personally, I can sit here comfortably. After I change gears, I just rest there comfortably.
Yeah, for sure.
You do it subconsciously without realising.
Yep, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense, man. Haven't done the old Mazda 3 gauge upgrade yet?
No, not yet.
The dials?
I was half tempted to do the ML that I ripped this out of. I was half tempted, but I was like, no, I'll just leave the way that they are at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense, man.
But yeah, while I'm driving, I plug my fridge that's in the back there.
Yep.
I plug the fridge in because it's just a SIG charger.
Yeah.
I plug that in while I'm driving. When I'm out at camp, I use the battery box to plug it in.
Okay, so when you're camping, do you unplug it from there and then do you move the fridge into the back?
No, the cable's long enough for me to actually...
you just run it to the back?
With the GLXRs, you got the...
I was just thinking that, you got the drop-down window.
The drop-down window for the rear. Everyone loves them. I don't know why they took them out of the MNs.
You can get an MN, but it's only certain ones. I think it is the GLXR. So, it's one of those features that you get in the top-end models.
But yeah, I got a little switch down here. That's for my rock lights as well.
Nice.
The steady RGB rock lights.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you can do all your party lights when you're camping.
Yeah, but they're
pretty bright.
They're pretty bright.
Yeah, they're pretty good lights.
Just white. But yeah, they're really, really good.
They're super hard to get a hold of because they're always out of stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just fortunately enough, I walked in there when they had a shipment come in.
Jagged it.
And I was just like, have you got any of these in stock? Yeah, we do. All right, I'll take one. I took it then and there.
Yeah, perfect, because I know a few boys that are chasing those and they just can't get a hold of them.
Yeah.
One of those hard things. No, awesome, man. And as I said, the interior is probably very similar to what I've got in my car, but just with a few different things. And having the fridge in the back's a good idea because, as you said, you can run that through to the back and you've got into the dual battery setup. It's awesome. And you've got a little box in the back there. Is that just for your food or?
Yeah, that's just a mixture of food, camp supplies and stuff like that. Like dry food and that.
Yeah. Yep.
Like bread, wraps, that sort of stuff.
All your standard stuff. Yeah, for sure.
It's just easier putting it in one box and then just throw it in the back. And then it keeps it from rolling around and rocking around in the tub.
Yeah, for sure. And we were talking about this before, just off camera, where you've got 2 bungee cords going between the back armrests or whatever you want to call them, but you use that for towels.
Yeah, that was actually my dad actually gave me that idea when we went to the Cape.
Yep.
Because originally from Queensland, we went to the Cape one time and we put a couple of bungee cords up. And back when I was a little bit smaller, we could sit in the back and we always used to put towels or blankets,
whatever,
just anything really that you could roll up tight enough and sit up inside there, and it just worked.
It's actually a bloody awesome idea. I'm going to use it. I'm going to steal that, mate.
Yeah,
I know it's a great idea.
I've put a fair few towels and blankets and stuff like that up there. You can get really ingenious, and if you get long enough bungee cords, wrap it round to the passenger side one over here.
Oh yeah.
And I did that once before when I had to carry a bit bigger blanket.
Yep.
And it's just easier to fold it up that way.
Yeah, a bloody good idea for someone to make would be a almost like a cage. You know what I mean? Like an expandable cage.
Like a little
and then you
bag
can literally stuff your stuff up there.
I was thinking of that idea. Use the factory mount points for the handles.
Yeah.
And make like a little bracket so you can have a little cargo net type thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Cargo net. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Not much else really on the interior. Just a couple little comfort mods and
just stuff to get you camping.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point, right?
Yeah, and the door cards as well. They were the original grey, original silver that everyone knows fades over time.
Yep.
I just a little bit of touch up of black paint.
Yeah, just give them a bit of spray.
Yeah, but one other thing was the 2 front speakers were also replaced as well.
All right, well, let's jump to the front, mate. Let's because this has got a pretty different front bar, which is different for a Triton anyway. I actually quite like it, so let's go have a gander there.
Sweet.
All right, front end, mate. We've got a fair bit going on here, and as I said, it's a different bar. I really like the look of it, but tell us about it, mate. What's going on?
It's a Rhino 4x4 winch bar.
Yep.
Or the 4x4 Evolution bar, I believe it is. I've had that for quite some time now. Can't fault it. Amazing approach angle and heaps of stuff. But I paired it up with the winch is actually fairly new.
Yeah, okay.
It's the Dominator Extreme.
Yep.
Nothing real fancy. Everyone should know about the Dominator Extremes. They get used by 4x4
forward drive action. I don't know.
Yeah.
Forward drive 24/7. What are they called?
Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, it's paired with Mars Performance halo lights, just like yourself there.
Yep.
You got the weather shield that came with the other ones that you saw on the side. It's got the steady and 11.5-inch ones.
Yeah.
And then it's also got the 8.5-inch Top X Pros.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So as you were saying before on the side, these are for more you down the road distance, spotlight or whatever. You'd have these for. I'm assuming going down a gravel track and you want to see the sides.
Stuff like that out here when if there's animals or anything around, it does help to just get that light just off to the sides.
Yeah, for sure. Even going down the harbour actually.
Sometimes when the light bar it does more over the top sort of stuff. There's 2 black spots just off to your sides.
Yep.
Plus, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit more light.
No, there's nothing wrong with having too much light. So would you say you would use all these 3 lights at once, or would you always differentiate between the 2?
I have used them all at once before.
Yeah.
But there's been a few times there where they, as much as they are LEDs, sometimes they are a little bit much for the amount of lights, and I'm sure some people are going to think, oh, you're scared of the dark. Well, yeah, I am, but there is no dark where I go now.
Yeah, Exactly right, man. You'll burn the road with this lighting setup.
People see me coming.
Yeah, exactly right.
But no, the spotties and the two light bars down the bottom are my main go-to.
Yep.
But besides turning on all of them is just because if I'm the only person on the road or only person driving down the track, I like to see anything.
Front of convoy for sure.
Yeah.
And if you go up north, if you drive north, you got camels, cows,
And wallabies and that.
all that good stuff running across in front of you. So you do need to see what's happening. So no, I like it, man. I do really like the bar. I think it looks really neat.
Yeah.
I think it's LED or LED.
They're LEDs.
Okay, yeah,
so
cool.
They're LEDs, and when I got it from Rhino, they paired it up to, they tapped it into the same wiring harness.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So you turn your indicators on, they turn on. You turn your your parkers on, they come on as well.
Yeah, cool.
They act as your fog lights as well.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So bash plates. I know you got the sticker on the side. Can't remember his name.
Custom off-road.
Custom off-road. Front to back, essentially.
From sump to trans.
Okay.
It doesn't have the front one because
this bark under the front.
Not too sure if you can see it in the shot, but underneath there is a 5mm cut front bash plate that matches for the bull bar. You get that with the bull bar.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know.
And then you just got the rest.
Got the rest going through. I've also got I believe it's TJ. I can't remember the brand, but it's a TJM fuel tank guard.
Oh yeah,
that sits underneath there.
Yep.
Bought that second hand off a bloke.
Yep.
But yeah, it's stood the test of time. I mean, I ran over a tree stump with it, and you can't really tell that I've done that.
You did?
Yeah.
Wouldn't notice. And anything happening? Obviously, we've got the big aerial with 6 dB, I'm assuming, or 4.5 dB.
The 6 point. I think that's the 6.6.
6.6 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nice unit. Good looking unit, actually. Nice and neat. Anything else you got to do to the front end, like in the future, you reckon?
Not so much. Well, actually, down the track, it's not so much on the front, but I will be going the Plasma Man upgrade intercooler kit.
Yep.
Just because when you throw the winch and everything in there, it does block up the radio a fair bit.
Yeah.
And you notice your ECTs and your EGTs tend to climb a fair bit when you're on the highway. But
100%. I can agree with that.
Once I put that intercooler in, it's also going to go for a dyno tune. It hasn't been dyno tuned yet, unfortunately. But that's just run of the muck. I'd like to do all my mods first and then
get it tuned.
And then get it tuned for the capability of it.
Some good advice there, actually, because the same thing with suspension. A lot of people go out and they go buy suspension. That's the first thing they do, right?
Yeah.
And then they go start loading up winches and bars and stuff in the back car. Yeah. And your suspension's not rated to that because you've got softer suspension. Because they normally when a suspension place, they're like, oh, well, you've only got a standard bar, so you only need the 60 kilo springs. But then you put a winch and bull bar, and now you got 100 kilos in the front. You start sagging. So if you're going to do a tune or something like that, do your mods first. Same thing I did. Do your mods first, then tune it, because you don't need to do it again. Or if you're going down the track and you're putting your turbo on it, that's really the only way you really have to retune it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One big thing that I did notice is that I put this front bar on, and the suspension that I did have before I had this, I had the just the factory nudge bar.
Yeah. Before
I put this bar on, it sat pretty nice, but then after, I'd say about 4 months before I actually
sagging.
It started sagging a fair bit. So I went back home, and before I had the winch and everything like that, went in there and, as you just said before, get all your mods done first, and then go tell the suspension guys what you want to do, because that way they can
make it to what you have.
They can fine tune it to exactly how it is. So
yeah. Absolutely. Otherwise, you might be doing mods to your car and you put 300 kilo constants in the back, which is fine if you've got a canopy and that on it, but you might not have a canopy for 6 months and you drive around with 300 kilo constants everywhere, which are absolutely shit to drive on. So you just find those little things when you're modifying cars. Try to do all your mods first, then do your major stuff. Or if you know exactly what you're going to go on the car, then you can tell the suspension plates, I'm going to put this bar on it, I'm going to have this on there, this is going to be on the front, and they can get a fair idea of where you're going to sit. So
that's exactly what I said when I said I need the winch put in there as well, and I'll put a couple more lights on the front, but that's about it.
Yep.
And the guys at Petters back home, they did a fantastic job getting my suspension sorted.
Well, talking about suspension, what a segue. Let's talk about your suspension, mate. Go underneath and have a gander.
Yeah, So,
mate, BF Goodriches?
Yeah, the all-terrains. They're wrapped in the D-lockers, the 16 by 8s with the zero offset tyre. Zero offset rim.
Yep, beautiful.
Yeah, the BF Goodriches, they've been on there for... They were probably one of the last things I did before I got my suspension done.
Okay.
And yeah, I can't fault them. They've done fantastic. As you can see, they've copped a bit of a beating.
Yeah.
And they've stood up against it.
So how long do you reckon you had these on there for?
I'll probably say close to about 6 to 7 months now. 2 to 4,000 k's.
2 to 4,000. I'm way off, huh?
Yeah.
So 2 to 4,000 k's.
Yeah.
I'm thinking my k's because I put k's on my car like nothing else. All right, so 16 by 8 on a zero offset, as I said, same as mine.
Yep.
And I'm assuming these are obviously fake beat lockers.
Yeah,
but,
fake beat lockers.
But does have the look, which looks quite nice. Some all-terrain tyres, which I've seen your videos, you pretty much get anywhere anyway, so they seem to be a pretty aggressive all-terrain tyre, which is good.
I tend to keep up with some of the bigger trucks like the 60 series with the muddies and the all-terrains and stuff like that. But,
yeah.
I mean, you don't need to go out and get the big muddies or anything like that. I mean, for me, the amount of off-roading that I do, it's if you're going out every day type of thing, every weekend, muddies, yes, but I mean, you have muddies on the road, they're really loud and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a massive compromise there. Something I've always said: if you're going out wheeling every weekend and you're hitting Brunswick or whatever, 100% have some muddies on there. Or get yourself a playset so you can change them that weekend and just go out and flog it. But if you're driving muddies every day, you're compromising. There is a compromise there. So they look cool, but they're definitely harsher on the road and you get less traction and that kind of stuff. So
I can't fault them. They've taken me everywhere. It's all to do with just tyre pressures and momentum if you're in sand and just that sort of stuff.
In mud, they're pretty good?
Yeah, mud,
they've pretty well?
Yeah, they've been pretty well. We did a Brunswick trip a fair while ago, and there was some big wicked Pajeros and stuff like that there, 60 series, and I was able to keep up with some of them. Just
happy days.
There was some stuff there that was I had a couple of niggling issues with the car. I had a CV boot that was blown, so I didn't really want to tackle the mud too much.
It's my life at the moment.
Yeah. It is time consuming when you've got that, but no, that's all been fixed. So bring the mud my way. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And I think you've gone, without contradicting myself, you've gone the perfect size tyre for this car. I did say a long time ago in a video, talking a long time ago now, Maxxis 980s, the all-terrains I had, they were a 265 by 75 on a 16, and I still stand by this day, they are the perfect size tyre for this car. But they definitely don't give you the clearance of a 33.
Yeah.
So there's your compromises, right? So you have a 33, you don't get the clearance, so you get more clearance and that kind of thing, which is great. Obviously more load on your car, so you got to compensate for the mechanical wear you're going to put in your car. But I still reckon these are definitely a very nice size for tyre for this car. So if you've got a Triton at home, and you're not doing anything crazy, 265, 75, 16 is the way to go, I reckon. So fixes the speedo too.
Yeah,
bang on 100.
Yeah, you can sit bang on 100, and I've mapped it with as I said before, with the heads-up display unit. You can actually see what your speed actually is. Versus I think I'm about 1 to 2 Ks out at the moment.
Yeah, Roger.
But once I get the tune and everything like that, it should work itself back.
Perfect, man. Perfect. And suspension-wise, what do we got under there, mate? What's the hubbub?
We got the 2-inch pedals.
Yep.
2-inch front and 2-inch rear.
Yep.
A lot of people tend to put the 3-inch in the front or the 2-inch in the rear, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. It suits you. They are the heavy-duty springs. The shocks have been in there for quite some time now, about three years probably now.
The shocks in there, did you upgrade the suspension when you bought it off your dad?
Yeah, after I put the bar on.
Yeah, okay.
So I put the bar on, took it there, and they did a test on the shocks. And just the shocks stood up, and they said, the shocks are fine, we'll just put a heavier spring in.
Yeah.
And they did a test on the spring, and the spring was a little sag, but not too much.
Yeah.
But they did that, and I get a lot of people actually asking, and they go, is this have you got 3-inch in the front? And I'm like, no, it's just a 2-inch.
I've actually got a video coming out regarding 3 inch in the front of these vehicles that'd be interesting. Because I just recently went back to 2 inches.
Yeah.
So definitely a smart move with the MN ML. I feel like the MR and the MQ may be a touch different.
I'm not too sure.
Haven't seen the front end of those. I don't really pay attention to them, but I haven't seen the front end if they're any different. But 300 of these can definitely make a harsher ride.
Yeah.
So, okay. And what's the load rate in the back? You got 150 kg or?
I believe they're 200 kg constant loaded.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Which you'd easily have now.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that because I'm not too sure what the boys at Petters had done for me.
Yep.
They saw the weight that I was carrying and they just said, "Yeah, we'll match it up for you." I didn't really ask any questions. They were personally experts in my opinion, and they are pretty good gear. Like,
Petters is good gear, mate.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Petters. Absolutely, nothing wrong with Petters gear. They've been doing this for. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were doing the whole V8 supercar thing as well.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for a minute, so definitely good gear. And you test it to that. You've had them on there for a long time. You haven't any dramas.
Yeah.
So, and I've got to ask. We did talk about it before, but you're going to go 33s.
Yeah, eventually I will go 33s.
Once you wear these out, obviously.
Yeah,
A couple of years.
once these are worn out, I will go probably 33s, wrap them in and neg 22s.
Yep.
I will be going all terrains again. I won't be going muddies. Probably a Mickey Thompson's or Cooper Discoveries.
Oh yeah, the AT3 P3s were there, the new ones.
Whatever their new ones are. And I'll also do what you did. Might even use your video to put the cut snake flares on.
Just don't follow the front where it balls up the front of it.
Up that. But I will be talking to one of the cut snake flares because they actually do adapter kits for
okay.
to
for
suit
the
this
Rhino.
little piece, and they actually fold it. It's actually folded plastic back in.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
It's just one of those, you see those. I think they're jungle flares. I think they're called.
Yep.
And you wrap them up.
Okay, yeah.
Just to help suit the car.
Yeah, they look neat. They look really neat. And then obviously you got enough clearance for your neg 22s. And yeah, 33s all day, every day.
Yeah.
Easy, mate. Easy. All right, so I mean that's pretty simple. 2-inch lift, pretty standard for these cars and that kind of thing. So good size tyre. But let's go under the bonnet. We'll talk about what's happening under your bonnet, things you've done under there, reasons why, all that kind of stuff. So engine bay. So something that's completely different to mine. This is a 3.2 motor.
Yeah.
Compared to a 2.5. This is actually the better motor. So apparently the last one, apparently it's a pretty hardy motor, essentially in the way of reliability and that kind of thing. How many Ks have got on it?
It's got 170 plus.
Well, for this year car, it's actually bugger all, so that's good.
It's got bugger all. It was mainly as I said before, it was mainly just a trader ute.
Yep.
Family car, trader ute, that type of thing, just a run around.
Yeah.
It did do a lot of towing and boat. We love our fishing, so Dad always used to take us out in it. And I actually learned to drive in this thing, so that's
perfect.
It does help. But no, it's stood the test of time. It's had two issues only, but I'm sure a lot of other people have had this issue. Carbon buildup.
Oh yeah.
EGR blockage, but
so standard piping, but you said you're going to put a Plasma Man intercooler on this for the 3.2, which is I've got one on my car and they are absolutely awesome. So you'll definitely notice some. Well, the big thing I noticed about mine is the air intake temperatures.
Yeah.
When I had the winch on it, it would probably be around 80, 70 degrees. So it was pretty damn warm.
Yeah.
But the intercooler on these things are like that big. They're tiny. They're like an A4 piece of paper. So the actual Plasma Man's about this big, and
it's almost double. Almost double.
It's 150% bigger, I think, off the top of my head. Okay. But the thickness of it is so you don't have the heat soak. Because the original one is so thin, probably 2 inches. This is probably 4.5 inches thick. Okay. So it's a big boy intercooler, but made a massive difference. I barely go over 40 degrees. So it's dropped off 40 degrees off my air intake temperature. And if you're fanging on the beach, I've had that thing up to like 110. It gets warm. Like once the intercooler heat soaks, that's it. It's all over. So yeah, definitely one of the best things you can do for these cars. They aren't cheap. I think they're around $1,300, but
yeah, about that.
They aren't cheap, but they're worth it. If you're going to tune it, which obviously you're going to do, or if you're going to have heavy loads towing, one of the best things you can do. So definitely going to make a big difference.
not much else is other than the gas struts. They are.
Oh, these are a godsend.
I highly recommend
Yeah.
the grunt kit. There are some kits that don't actually fit properly. Like you've really got to you've got to re-drill some holes, or you've got to just a couple other minor things.
Yep. These are pretty much factory. They bolt shut
Yeah,
up.
you just one thing that they don't tell you in the instructions, if you do go along the lines of getting a set of grunts, when you go to undo your bonnet ones, make sure you mark it, or you at least undo one bolt, put one bolt in, undo one bolt, put one back in.
Oh, okay.
Because your bonnet can twist. Unfortunately, I had that problem.
Yep.
I didn't have anyone tell you, so that learn from people's mistakes. I did it, and I had a mate, and we actually had to put pieces of paper to measure each side to make sure it was square.
Oh, true. Yeah, of course.
Because the center lock actually didn't line up with this. It was actually failing on the top. On the top of
right,
it.
and then you had to essentially readjust it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had to back down, check it, back up, undo it.
Adjust it.
Yeah.
Yep. So a bit of fluffing around. Yeah, no, nice. So, mate, we've been through the car. We've gone through the bits and bobs. So, what advice, I suppose, you can give to the viewers? I've got an MN, you've got an ML. What would you sort of recommend the first sort of mods for someone buying this car?
To buy ML 3.2, my first thing I would recommend is bash plates.
Yep.
Because as you would know from experience, I would know as well, the bash plates that come on MLs and MNs, and I think even the MQs as well,
pretty average.
They're pretty average. So highly recommend custom off-road. Like as I said before, I literally ran over a tree and not a couple of scuff marks, not too much. But yeah, they've saved my transmission so many times, especially going places where 60 series and stuff like that don't really
Don't have to worry about
don't have to worry about it too much, especially being IFS.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing you got to protect the whole IFS system at the front. So I think it's pretty cool getting bash plates.
Yeah. But yeah, any bash plate, doesn't really matter what brand.
As long as you're protecting it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good advice. And anything to look out for, like in your experience, anything that sort of caught you out or anything like that, like along the way?
Oh, yeah, probably one thing would be the amount of room you've got to work with in the engine bay.
Yeah.
You've got to really think about what you want to do, about how much you want to run and stuff like that. Like myself, I spent countless days and weeks trying to plan out what I wanted on the car.
You set it up and stuff.
And probably one other thing would be think very clearly about what you want. Like I kept the tub purely because that was my preference. Everyone's got different preferences for what they need. But no, when you're setting up your car, if you come with a tray, stick with a tray. That's my honest opinion. If you come with a tub and you really, really don't want the tub, swap it. But you are limited on the type of accessories because Tritons aren't really that well known. They're a very underrated four-wheel drive.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
But besides all that,
aftermarket's not massive on them though.
No, it's not. One other thing, probably besides the bash plates, my next mod would be a rear locker. Because
if you don't buy a GLXR,
if you don't come with one factory, my opinion would be a rear locker.
Does make them a different vehicle.
Yeah, because being the Tritons, they don't really flex that well. But when you set them up right, they can. Because from experience, driving with 60 series, 80 series, all coil spring rears, and 60s have got leafs, but some of them can just flex up.
They still can flex for
a sick giraffe. But you put a rear locker in any vehicle, and you can climb anywhere. Yeah,
there's not many places you can get stuck up unless you really lose your front wheel and your back wheels just aren't getting traction. But rear locker for these cars, I think, is one of those real essential things if you want to do proper off-roading. Just get a rear locker. Front locker is great, but if you buy a vehicle, a GLX or whatever, which doesn't have a rear locker, invest in one for sure. Okay, well, I mean, she's a bit of a beast, man. And as I said, we wanted to sort of start this series on a Triton that's had a fair bit of work done, and as I said, an honest car that you take forward driving pretty much every chance you can get. And I reckon she's going to be even more awesome once you put some 33s on there, man, and do a few bits and bobs. But as I said, first episode of Triton builds.
Yeah, I'm just glad I was able to come out.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, we're about to get rained on here because it's horrible weather, but that's just WA at the moment. We're in the middle of winter, so
Yeah, that's true.
it's one of those things. But I suppose the next Triton build's going to be completely different. I'm going to do one with a tray and a full canopy setup.
Yeah, so that'd be nice to see a different
Yeah,
variety.
just do the complete opposite and see how that goes. Yeah, see what happens. But another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And if we don't see you in the next video, we might see you on the tracks and trails. If we don't see you on the tracks and trails, we shall see you later.